Hello, this is Tom, aka Jedion here for Tabletop Tap Room. Today we're looking at an email that was sent by somebody who claims to be a gamer, who cares about the gaming hobby, and yet they urge somebody to commit suicide by putting a gun in their mouth and pulling the trigger. It's really pretty bad, actually. But I thought we would review this because it actually impinges upon the one of the topics that I have covered quite a bit with new TSR, and it's an anonymous email, as you can imagine. And I thought we would just read it and ask the question: what kind of person would send this email? Because I think the email answers that question and will paint a very vivid picture of the person involved. But before we get to that, let me just say thanks for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, bell icon. Help me build the channel. And just to help pay the bills a little bit, let me get in a word from my sponsor. Happens to an adventure run at conventions. Many times they are lost and fade from memory, but sometimes they are rediscovered. Presenting the Lost Adventures of Gary Con 1 and 2 from the vaults of Tim Kask, brought to you by Wizard Tower Games. Inside, you will find the Tower of the Mad Wizard and Return to the Frozen North in their original form, as well as in 1st and 5th edition formats, bound as a quality hardcover book with full-color heavyweight pages. All copies are signed by Tim Kask and accompanied by a certificate of authenticity and sealed with a security hologram bearing the edition number. Other features include removable fold-out maps, 16 unique monsters never before seen or published, unique pre-generated player characters, and a 4-page comic spread of Marvin the Mage by Jim Wampler, first debuted at Gary Con 4. You will be getting far more than a simple book. With only 300 copies, the Lost Adventures of Gary Con 1 and 2 are selling out fast. Grab them before other adventures plunder the dungeon ahead of you. Of special note, proceeds are being donated to the 9/11 Never Forget Fund and to cover medical expenses for Rachel Steen, a brave woman who dedicated her life in New York City to helping those with substance abuse issues. Rachel was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. All right. Yes, Wizard Tower Games is Lost Modules of Gary Con 1 and 2. Very excited about these. Can't wait to get my copy. We are looking at a anonymous email that was sent to Wizard Tower Games. Let me do a share screen. So this is the email that was sent to Wizard Tower Games. I got a copy of it, and you notice it's no reply at anonymous mail. So brave on somebody's part. So powered by anonymous mail, and we'll just read it, then we'll do the breakdown, because this really reveals a lot that I don't think the person who wrote it really realized how much they were revealing. So here we go. Dawn, no insults, just writing this to you as I wonder as a dad how you could have killed your daughter. I don't understand how you could have pulled her life support. And it was, I see on TikTok, her birthday, and you made some lame CDO, CIDEO. I think he meant video about it. Me, that's me spelled MEEEY, but I think he meant Mary, because the next word's Christmas. Why don't you take a gun and stick it in your mouth and go see her? I am about to vomit thinking of you and how happy you were watching her frail around, frail spelled FRAIL instead of flail, around on the bed, gasping for air, supposed to be gasping. Did she cry? I bet she did in horror at being murdered. But instead now you are going after a real father, a real person who cares about gamers and the hobby. Say what you want, but some dads would never murder their kids like you did. I hope you think about her in the oven burning this Christmas and about the wrong you are doing to others who tried to make a real hame. A real hame. I think he meant real name, company, but you killed that also. Your day is coming. Just do everyone a favor and end your own sad, loser, grifting, criminal life. Such a happy message on Christmas. And he even said Merry Christmas. So, let's talk about the obvious. So, the English grammar, the spelling in English grammar in here is just sixth grade. It is what Eric Tenkar has dubbed lower Lanassian. You know, we have high Gygaxian for really high prose language that Gary Gygax really pushed in a lot of his writing. And here we have what Eric Tenkar dubbed lower Lanassian. It really is. It's like it's written by somebody who peaked in sixth grade. Also, another obvious thing, anonymous again. This is somebody with no balls. This person has absolutely no balls, no codpiece at all to speak of. Probably microscopic. You need magnifying glass to find it. It's an obvious partisan of new TSR. That's kind of obvious that, since it's to dawn and, what's been going on with new TSR, it's obvious. It's a partisan of new TSR. Now, I'll tell you, it's a small pool of people, okay? I'm not going to actually say who it is because I don't 100% know. I have a strong suspicion based off a lot of factors. But I'm not going to say who I think it is, but I'm going to tell you who it is not. Okay, in that small pool of partisans for new TSR. It is not Ernie Gygax Jr. and it is not Duck Leeson. And the reason being is because I believe Ernie Gygax Jr. and Duck Leeson are being blackmailed. And if somebody's being blackmailed, they're not going to go out on a limb and write something as nasty as this for the person that I believe is blackmailing them. And the reason why I say I believe they're being blackmailed is because that info dump, that text message info dump that Michael Hovermail did in the bankruptcy hearing, where it reveals that, as I had suspected for a very long time, that Ernie and Duck had invested money in the Dungeon Hobby Shop. Justin is in the text messages bragging that there's nothing in writing. And so that Ernie and Duck got nothing in writing. So so he then brags, Justin Lanassa bragged and said, mine, all mine. And he bragged this to Michael Hovermail, and Michael Hovermail revealed it accidentally in that text message email dump. So I believe that Ernie and Duck are being kept in line and having their mouths kept, their mouths are being kept shut and they're being kept in line because they're still hoping to get something out of their money that they invested. They're hoping above hope. I think it's very obvious they're screwed. They're out the money. They should cut their losses. But I believe this is a situation effectively tantamount to blackmail. So it's not them because, somebody being blackmailed does not like the person who's blackmailing them. So I very strongly believe, no, not them. That makes it the small pool even smaller to about three Kool-Aid drinkers, what we like to call Kool-Aid drinkers, and Justin himself. Now, I'm not going to say it's Justin. I'm simply going to break down this email and show you what this email is going to paint a picture for us of the person who wrote it, and let you judge. But so I'm not going to say it's Justin. It could be any one of the four. I don't know for sure. I don't have the computer forensics on it, but who knows? Those may eventually turn up someday. So, here's the thing. Each of these statements in this email reveal something about the writer. And I'm going to outline what those are because they paint a picture, and they paint a picture of values and character. And when you know somebody's character, you know who they really are. So let's break this down. It opens with no insults. Don, no insults. Just writing this to you as I wonder. So, he feigns sincerity here. But what they really are is insincere, and they're a fraud. This is he's feigning sincerity, but he's the exact opposite. He is a fraud. He's being fraudulent here when he feigns sincerity. He's just trying to. So he is a fraud, and that's a character. That's a character defect of this individual that wrote this. They are a fraud. Next, we get this phrase, killed your daughter. Now, this is a reference to a very personal, private family matter of the Samora family. This should never have been brought out into the open, but it has a long history of having been brought out into the open by fake accounts on Twitter that just attacked Dawn. There has been autopsy photos mailed to Dawn's wife's work with a statement that this was your daughter. Let me just say, there was never an autopsy. She died in a hospital under doctor's care. There is no autopsy. Autopsies are only done when somebody dies and we don't know why they died, and so the medical examiner must make a determination. That's when autopsies happen. There was never an autopsy. So there's been a long history of somebody taking this very personal, private family matter, has no business being put out into the gaming community, into the hobby, has no business. Okay. But it's being used to try to lash out and hurt Dawn Samora. So what this tells us is this person who wrote this email, no scruples. Nothing is there's just nothing that they won't do. They have absolutely no scruples. So they're a fraud and they have no scruples. Then we have this life support. He talks about the life support, taking her off the life support. This is an opportunist. He's using this personal, private family matter that he knows about. Okay. And we have a strong suspicion who that person is because Don told very few people about this. Unfortunately, the people he did tell are all part of that partisan group of people that support and still cling to the little Klingons hanging from your butt hairs, hanging on, just to hang on, desperately hanging on to the new TSR, whatever. So most of the people he told this story to are those Klingons, those partisans. So this is an opportunist. They'll just use any opportunity to hurt someone, to get ahead, to get what they want. And that's what this person is. So they're a fraud, they're unscrupulous, they're an opportunist. And the real truth here is that Dawn's daughter had gone into a coma and was brain dead. And she had previously expressed her wishes and desires to not be kept on life support beyond a certain point. And Dawn, to protect his wife, to protect his family, stood up and made the decision alone. He made the tough decision. Now that's a real man. That's somebody, to save his wife to distress, to protect her. That's real courage. So that's the real truth here. But this is an opportunist just looking to hurt someone. Oh, I know this about you, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Then next we get a reference to her birthday and Christmas. I saw it was her birthday, and then Merry Christmas, except he doesn't know how to spell Merry. And they're invoked to harm. Now, only a nasty and vicious person looking to harm, is going to invoke because at holidays and birthdays, when you've lost someone in your family, holidays and birthdays become real poignant. And I testify to this. Birthdays come around for my parents, holidays come around, it gets a little, it's poignant. And so this is an absolute vicious person attempting to hurt him, because it's birthday and Christmas. And so he's just looking, this is just pure viciousness, attempting to pile on and add extra, stick the knife in and add extra pain there for the family. So then we have put a gun in your mouth and go see her. That is murderous. This is a person with murderous intent in their heart. They have a murderous intent. They would murder someone if they could. I believe. This just demonstrates murderous intent on their part. That put a gun in your mouth. They're just that vicious, that nasty. They are willing to poke somebody and prod somebody and urge them to kill themselves. That's a murderous person. Number 6, we have, I am about to vomit. He feigns emotion. He feigns an emotional response. Oh, I'm so sickened by what you did. He's feigning an emotional response. Now, this is really interesting to me, and it's because I have somebody just like this in my family. This is sociopathic. This is a sociopath. Whoever wrote this person is a sociopath. They don't see other people as real people. They see other people as pieces on the board to be manipulated. And one of the ways in which they're manipulated is through feigning emotion. And I say this because we have a sociopath in my family, and she just sees other people as pieces to be manipulated. And she does that by feigning emotion and pretending to care. And so when I see this, I'm like, oop, that reminds me of that person that I get to deal with in my own personal family. Ooh. So much fun. So much fun having that kind of a person around you. They don't see anyone else as a real person. Their own wife, their own kid, just pieces on the board to be manipulated. And the number one way to manipulate people is through feigning emotion. This is what a sociopath does. So, yeah. And look, yeah, it's probably somebody out there going, dude, you're not qualified to make that diagnosis. No, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not. But I'm giving my opinion, and my opinion is because I get to live with it in my family. So I'm like, yep, I recognize this. So how happy? He ascribes happiness to the father. Having to watch his daughter die, this is just absolutely sadistic. He is with this phrase that starts with how happy you were. This is just true sadism here. This is a person who loves to stick the knife in and turn it. They enjoy hurting. He is looking to hurt, and he's turning that knife. Let me twist that knife. He is looking to hurt. That's just sadism, man. He's absolutely sadistic. So number 8. Instead, you are going after a real father, a real person who cares about gamers and the hobby. And here we get into the motive. Okay. See, he's equating in this email. Oh man, you killed your daughter, and you're going after me. Like he's making himself the victim, which is really wow. You want to compare the death of a daughter to your failed business. and make yourself the victim, that is so rich, absolutely rich. So what we have going on here is projection. This is projection. He's saying you're going. Watch the lie. He says he really cared about gamers in the hobby. Why would if he really cared about gamers in the hobby, why would he try to get Don to harm himself if he was such a caring person? Are these the actions of a caring person? No. Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely not the actions of a caring person who cares about gamers in the hobby. I'm such a caring person. Okay. You don't care about the hobby. You don't care about the hobby. You don't care about gamers. They're just they're just pieces on the table to be manipulated through feigning emotion. Oh, I care. Feigning emotion. He doesn't care. Okay. Because if he cared, he certainly wouldn't be advocating somebody to hurt themselves through suicide. Okay. When people attack you and ascribe to you, it's often what they're guilty of. So, what's funny here is he's ascribing to Don, you're going after a real father and a real person. The real father here is the one who stood up and said, my daughter's wishes are this. Therefore, we're going to do this. I'm making the decision to spare the rest of the family. That was a real father. That was a real man that did that. Okay. And this person who wrote this email is going after. He's going after that real man and that real father. Okay. That's projection. They ascribe to you what they're guilty of, their own sins. So, number 9, you say that you want, say what you want, but some dads would never murder their kids like you did. Here we can take this person at face value. Okay, what he's saying is I would never make that decision. He would never stand up and spare his wife. He would never stand up and spare his family. He's telling us right here and now in this statement, he's a gutless coward. This is a gutless coward. And so he's just saying, I would never. We can take him at face value. He's telling us he's a gut. We can believe him. You can believe this guy when he tells us this. He's a gutless coward. Do you think about her? And again, he's invoking Christmas and loss. And this is the kind of sadistic, bastard who would just stick the knife in and twist it. So just return to more sadism, let me try to turn that knife, see how much I can hurt you. That's number 10. Number 11, the wrong you are doing to others who try to make a real Haim company. What wrong? He's ascribing to Don, you're doing wrong. You're doing wrong to others. Is this person God? Okay, you oppose him, and you're suddenly wrong. You go against him, you're automatically wrong. Don was subpoenaed. He was subpoenaed, and in part of the subpoena, you must told him to preserve evidence of this, and this. And Don was asked to destroy evidence. He was asked to violate the subpoena, which could get Don put in jail. Okay. This is a federal court case. You're destroying evidence. Don was asked to destroy evidence in a federal court case, and that could very easily get him put in jail. Don's supposed to go to jail for someone else because they've screwed up. They've done wrong. They've, gotten themselves in trouble. Don's been subpoenaed to testify, and he refused to lie in court and get himself in trouble. He refused to destroy evidence. And so that was what has brought him all of these troubles with new TSR. And so, this wrong you have done. You should just be willing to go to jail because I told you to destroy evidence. I mean, how narcissistic is that? This person is super narcissistic. They are stuck on themselves. How dare you oppose me? How dare you? You're so wrong. You're doing wrong by opposing me. Listen, this is not about opposing you. I've been subpoenaed. I've got to give testimony. I've been told I got to preserve these records for the court. So I have to. I cannot destroy evidence. I'm not going to jail for you. Don't care how much you are stuck on yourself. I, like Dawn, would not go to jail for you. Might go to jail for the good wife, but she'd never put me in that situation. That's why she's the good wife. But I wouldn't go to jail for you. Hell no. So this is narcissism. The wrong you were doing. This person's a toxic narcissist. Real Haim company, but you killed it. I love this. No one killed TSR but Justin. Even with the bankruptcy, trustee doesn't believe Justin. The bankruptcy trustee has petitioned the court to appoint lawyers, to appoint attorneys to be responsible for the TSR estate. All their job is to look out for the interests of the TSR estate. And in the language of the petition by the trustee to the court, it said, because to look out for the interest of TSR because of possible negligence or fraud on the part of employees at TSR. Now, that's a funny statement because new TSR has repeatedly over and over again, nope, Ernie and Duck were volunteers. They are not employees. They're not officers of the company, even though we named them officers. The only employee at TSR is Justin. So the bankruptcy trustee believes there is a high potential that negligence and fraud has gone on at TSR. And therefore, in this bankruptcy, there must be attorneys in place to look out for the interests of TSR, the estate, on its own behalf against the people who committed negligence and or fraud. And since there's only one employee, you can just draw your own conclusion there that, it seems like the trustee suspects that one employee of negligence and fraud. But what you have here is that he's deflecting. He's saying, you killed it. He's deflecting. He's never done anything wrong. Okay. No, his own bankruptcy filing indicates like almost $300,000 in debt for TSR, and that it only made a few $1,000s in profit. Okay, that's mismanagement of the highest order, if you believe that filing. And I certainly, it's up in the air whether you want to take it at face value and go, okay, if we accept this, this is what this means. Rank negligence, rank fraud. But I don't really believe it. Honestly, I really don't believe it. But we're deflecting the errors of the CEO of New TSR to Dawn. Dawn had nothing to do with killing New TSR. Totally mismanaged by Justin himself. So whoever this is that wrote this, they're just engaging in deflection. They're deflecting the sins of the CEO to Dawn, and it just doesn't wash. We get this statement, your day is coming, which is famous last words. This is actually a judgment being pronounced by the writer of this email upon the head of Justin Lanassa, truthfully. It really is. Because Justin's day is coming. He has initiated 3 different lawsuits, and these lawsuits are going poorly for him. And sooner or later, judgment day is coming. And he is not John Connor. I'm sorry. Judgment Day is coming, baby. And you're not John Connor. So he pronounces your day is coming. What this really reveals about the writer of the email, though, is they're very grandiose. They make grandiose pronouncements. It's a grandiose personality. Just absolutely, your day is coming. There's no evidence of that. There's no reason to believe that. Just simply, well, because I said so. Grandiose pronouncements. 14. Do everyone a favor and end your life. Really, everyone? Let me just pick that apart for a minute. Everyone will get a favor if Don kills himself. How is that favorable for everyone? Is that favorable for his wife and daughter? Okay, would that be doing them a favor? No, it wouldn't. Is that favorable for his customers? No. No favor for anybody in the gaming industry, because Don's actually got a pretty good company going, producing some great products, Haunted Ruins, Rot Hole Dungeon cards, very great products, absolutely great products. I love every single one that I've ever gotten from him. They're absolutely fabulous, thorough. He's very thorough of a game designer, super thorough. So there's no favor for any of his customers, no favor for anybody out there in the hobby, his friends, his family. The only person who gets a favor out of this is Justin Lanassa, because Don has been subpoenaed to testify against him in court. The only person who benefits from Don harming himself, Justin Lanassa. Okay? So whoever this person is, what they're advocating, pushing Don to do, this is criminal. Okay, there are people in America who've been charged and convicted in court for urging someone to commit suicide. This is actually criminal. Whoever this emailer is, they are a criminal. And then finally, the last statement there, sad, loser, grifting criminal. He calls Don a sad, loser, grifting criminal. And again, it's more projection. But you know who really is a grifter? We could talk about this. You know who really is a grifter? Is TSR. TSR took prepayments, pre-orders, and never delivered those games. Okay? That's a grift. That's absolutely a grift. Okay? You know, and he sued Eric Tenkar for libel, for calling him a criminal. He's actually a criminal. Eric was forced to produce a certified copy of his criminal arrest record, his criminal conviction, time in jail, and other consequences for the court. And he repeatedly lied and signed under penalty of perjury. Not true, not true. And only under the threat of judicial sanction by the judge did he and his lawyer come clean and admit the truth that Justin Lanassa is a criminal. Okay, so, you know, this thing about sad loser. All right, so grifting, being a grifter, being a criminal, these are things you can go, yes, he did that. Therefore, he, you know, if you tell a lie, you are a liar. Okay, if I catch you in a lie, then I can call you a liar. Okay, if you're caught stealing, we can call you a thief. Okay, he got caught and convicted of a crime. He is therefore a criminal, and it's very obvious. There's been grift going on, fraud and negligence is suspected at New TSR, plus the one big obvious grift that we know about with the pre-sales and games never delivered. But sad and loser, these are not words you can easily quantify on somebody. You know, we throw them out there, call people loser, and calling somebody sad. You know, how do you prove, oh, he's sad? How do you prove that? Well, he looks sad to me. You can't quantify that, unless somebody tells you they're sad. But you know what? This person who wrote this email, because this is projection, when they say sad, loser, grifting criminal, I think they're being honest and they're telling us who they really are through projection. They're projecting it on Don, but they're really telling us who they are. We would never be able to say they're a sad loser, okay? And not have it stick. I mean, we couldn't push that. It's just people running their mouths. But I think this is this person telling us and giving us an admission of truth that they are they think of themselves as deep inside where they live, where the real them is. They think of themselves as a sad loser. They know that they're a grifter. They know that they're a criminal. They're certainly very criminal in their behavior. This email was criminal because there are people in America who are convicted of this very thing when somebody has committed suicide. So, projection. I think this person has just told us the truth about themselves. Sad, loser, grifting, criminal. It's sad. It's almost pitiable. Except this person's championing a company that was born under questionable circumstances, born in controversy, and if you believe the bankruptcy filing has been woefully, horribly mismanaged. Almost $300,000 in debt, and they only made a few $1,000s. If you believe the bankruptcy filing, big F, and it doesn't sound like the trustee in the bankruptcy filing believes it at all. I certainly don't believe it as an observer of the bankruptcy, but how sad that this person who wrote this email seems to be championing a dead company that has been killed by its own CEO through suspected fraud, suspected negligence. It destroyed the reputation of this company. It's just run the name down into the dirt. The name TSR has just become mud through the actions of its own CEO. And how sad for this person. Very pitiable that they would champion this. So pitiable. This is what we come to in the hobby, that certain trolls get in and they do things like this. This is just absolutely horrible. This is a very murderous criminal, narcissistic, sadistic, sociopath, fraud, and unscrupulous person. And I certainly hope that Don Samore is watching his back. He certainly should. This is a dangerous individual that would send this kind of email. I hope that the appropriate authorities will look into this. I hope the judge in the Watsy case will take this, will not be amused by this, because none of the TSR partisans should be doing this. Justin should be held responsible for this. This is why he was ordered to remove any and all admins and moderators on his social media, so that none of these people could do this type of thing. And he could say, well, it wasn't me, He's responsible for what his people say. He was made responsible, and he agreed to that when he signed that order, so that the judge did not have to so order it. So this is really ugly, that somebody would urge someone to kill themselves. Absolutely murderous. We've painted a picture for you of who they are. It's what we got to live with. And hopefully one of these court cases will bring down a judgment that will broom all of this out the door and under the mat, and make it not our problem in the hobby anymore. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great. And don't forget that like, subscribe, and bell icon. Keep on gaming. Keep on gaming. Just don't do it with any of this crew and their nastiness. We don't need it. It's time for them to go out of the hobby. Again, thanks for listening.